started. Got the regular setup there with my chair and some sliders. We will be able to do the legs and the arms today, but we're going to take it easy on the spine for the most part. I'll give a little bit of spinal movement for those who don't have anything going on. And you guys, that'll just be a rest time for you. All right, so have whatever you need for sliding. And those of you with the webcams on, those are going to be recorded. I'm pretty sure those will be recorded. So if you don't want to be recorded, you can turn your webcam off. Otherwise, I think it's just recorded in that little mini, what do they call that? Thumbnail photo or something like that. But otherwise, if you don't mind being recorded for posterity, keep your webcam on. All right, so let's just take a moment to center ourselves. You can sit a little bit forward of the chair back if comfortable. And I have this little hole in the back of my chair. If my QL was bothering me, I would try to slide my butt back in there. If you have that kind of a chair set up, so that you can lean back in a slight back bend, and maybe just kind of something like this. So slight back bend just for a few breaths and then come to neutral. But I would stay back so you have the support so that the QL, the muscles of the spine, no matter what they are, get a little support. Otherwise, sit a little bit forward and hands resting somewhere comfortable for you. Take a moment to tune into your breath. Let's take the breath down into the belly, a couple of belly breaths. Sorry, I just see someone else is coming in. There we go. And so arm movements are one of the best things you can do for your back, keeps your back in neutral, not purposefully doing a twist or a lateral or back bend or forward bend, but those arms, the arm muscles actually come in and tease into the back. So let's begin to add arm movements. Usually like to start a little slower or less movement and get it larger and larger as you continue. So you do the range of motion comfortable for you. And if your shoulders are good, that you can really use your arms to help your back. So take those arms up as much as comfortable for you and feel how that inhale movement with the arms up teases into the back a little bit, helps to lengthen the spine. Inhale, the arms up, exhale, back down. Do maybe 5 or 6 of those and then rest. And anytime we're doing a movement that doesn't feel good for your back, if you don't want to twist or bend forward, just sit upright and do 5 or 6 more arm movements and then rest. So you don't want to do too much while that's trying to heal. All right, we're going to come down to the legs now. So here you can sit forward. And if your back is bothering you, you might want to take a lean back and do a slight back bend there for part of the time. Don't do too much leaning on your hands to aggravate the heel of the hand or the wrist. All right, so let's bring your one foot up on something that will slide on whatever surface you've got there. And put the heel on that so that when you take the leg out, it's in the flexed position. That'll be our inhale. Exhale, bend the knee back in. And again, as big a range of motion as comfortable for you, so the leg goes as straight as it's willing to go. And you can bring it back. You can bring it back further underneath your body, underneath your chair if you like. Inhale out, exhale, bend, and start to head out toward the side. Different spokes out there. And so leg movements don't seem like they're helping the back, but that hip, we're getting into the hip, and that actually does sort of tease into the back from the bottom end. The arms tease into the back from the top end, and that's much better to keep the back sort of in neutral and tease into it from the top, tease into it from the bottom. And that's one of our basic general rules in yoga therapy is to do it that way, to leave the area of concern alone and stable and not in pain, not weight bearing if possible. Here, it is bearing a little bit of weight if you're not using the chair to lean back on. All right, let's take one of those spokes, pick a spoke, any spoke, and take a point and a flex. Just hold the leg out there. Keep the knee a little bit soft so it feels like it has a little bit of a bend as you point and flex, and take the ankle around in circles. You could flex and spread the toes, curl the toes forward, wake up the toes a little bit, give them a little wiggle, and then go ahead and ease back out of that all the way back up to the front. And we'll change to the other side. Switching legs, the heel on whatever you're going to slide on, out on the inhale, back in on the exhale. And those of you nursing a back, see if you can get a little bit of a back bend in there for a couple of these movements, and then rest at neutral. Inhale, leg going out as straight as it's willing to go. Exhale, back in. And then picking one of those spokes to land on and point and flex. Some ankle circles. And let's flex and play with the toes a little bit, spreading the toes, curling the toes forward, flexing the toes back as much as they'll go. Spread again, wiggle them around, and then work your way back up to the top, to the front. All right. And let's take a little, you can do cat-cows if you like, or you're going to do the cow movement, the back bend on the inhale and just a neutral on the exhale if you're nursing a QL or a back, as many of you stated in the beginning. And so when you're nursing a lower back thing, imagine you've got one of those big bands around that prevents you from bending at the waist, and put an imaginary piece of wood, a cardboard wood, a thick piece of cardboard or a piece of wood that is comes up the front of the chest. That's going to prevent you from rounding the spine. So that wood is going to make you move like that, only from the hips. Let me just show from the side. So you got a big band on here with a piece of something stiff, like, some people say like an ironing board, and it'll allow you to bend from the hip, crank yourself over, but not rounding at the waist at all. You can try that movement, and that also will stretch into the lower back. If it's too much, just do one and see if your back will allow that. Just depending on how much the muscle was pulled, it may or may not allow that. If not, then like I said, just coming to neutral, no rounding, no forward bending, and that's it for you. You can do a mild back bend. That's it. All right, so we're going to go back to the legs, but what I want is to do a little leg strengthening work. And so when we do those exact same movements that we just did, just taking it out and in, we're going to push into the floor. When we bring the leg back, push into the floor, and it makes your leg muscles work. So it's like you're trying to dig a hole in the floor. And you can push going out as well. For some, that aggravates the knee. And actually, for some people, one or the other aggravates the knee, but most of the time it's fine pulling back and the knee is fine with that. But for some folks with knee issues, pushing the heel back out can aggravate the knee. So you can just slide the leg out normally, like we normally do, and really push the heel down like you're trying to dig a trench with your heel when you bring the leg back in. And if your knees allow you to press on both the out and the in movement, sometimes if you don't bring the heel back underneath too much, the knee will allow it. So just bringing the heel to directly under the knee, and then just from there out, you can press, and the knee generally will like that. But it's a little harder on the knee to push from back all the way back here and push as you go out. Hopefully that makes sense. So pressing into the floor as you take the leg again on any of those spokes. I'm going to brain fart on that word. I hope it's spokes. And then when you go all the way out and all the way back up to the front, working those leg muscles, switch it over to the other side and do the same. A little leg strengthening work here. Get those leg muscles working for you. And the breath work is the same. So even though we're doing this a little more exertion, don't hold the breath, which can be the habit when there's more exertion or when we're concentrating because it's doing something new. We like to hold the breath. So catch yourself and pick up the breath. Inhale when the leg goes out. Exhale, bending the knee back in. And really let those leg muscles tighten up and work for you. See if you can, I'm on carpet, see if you can like dig a hole in your carpet. All right, and again, all the way out and all the way back up to the front. And when you get all the way done, we'll take a pause. And just pause at neutral, hands in a comfortable place, spine tall. We're going to come back to arm movements again. And you can do one arm at a time, but I'm going to do both. And if you're doing one at a time, alternate. Exhale the arms down, inhale the arms up. Let's see if the arm movement can be a little bit more even to where you're stretching the arms perhaps a little bit back toward like a back bend. And then just release them down to neutral. Slight back bend on the inhale. Exhale to neutral. All right, we're going to do a gentler form of the 6 directions of the spine. So if you're nursing a lower back, you're not going to want to do the lateral movement at all. So you can see when I drop one arm down, I have a slight lateral. Not if your back's bothering you, you just drop your arm down. Don't lateral over to it, and keep your elbow a little bit bent when you look at your finger. Sometimes when the arm is straight, we do tend to lean a little bit over. So just watch first to see what the movement is, and then you can decide if it's one you're going to rest on or if you want to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to show first if I'm nursing a lower back issue. So I have my elbow a little bit bent. Looking at the fingertips, I'm going to raise the arm out to the side on the inhale. Exhale, it's going to cross over to the opposite shoulder. Notice I'm twisting to the left. And so if I'm nursing a issue that's on one side, I'm only going to be doing this exercise for example, on this particular way, which is going to my left. The other side would be me mirroring you. So it's a slight twist to the left. That's your exhale movement. You're going to inhale here and add a slight back bend. Exhale, come back to neutral. And then inhale, open it back out to the side. And exhale, let the arm go down. The elbow stayed bent the whole time. And then those of us who are not nursing an issue, we would do the other side as well. All right, so let's start. I'm going to mirror those of you who had the left QL. So this will be a twist to your left. I've got my, so this would be, if I'm mirroring you, your right arm down, a slight bend to the elbow, look down. And those of you who are not nursing a QL, you can take a little lateral. So drop that arm down. You can have the arm straight dangling down. Otherwise, you'll stay up and keep your elbow bent. Exhale here. And on the inhale, raise the arm out to the side. Let your eyes follow the fingertips. Exhale, cross it over, bringing your fingertips to the opposite shoulder. You're in a slight twist to your left. Here, you're going to inhale and add a slight back bend. Exhale, come back to neutral. Inhale, open the arm back out, eyes following the fingertips. And then exhale the arm down, keeping the elbow bent, not lateraling, unless you are not nursing a back issue. All right. And we're going to alternate side to side. And of course, those of you nursing the back, you're going to repeat what we just did on that side. So don't mirror me on this next one. All right. Otherwise, if you're going to the other side and you're okay to add the lateral, that arm will go straight. You'll add a little lateral there. Inhale the arm out to the side. Exhale, cross. Feel that slight twist. We're going to stay here and add a little back bend. Exhale back to neutral. Inhale, open it out. And exhale the arm down. And again, if you're nursing one side, you're on that same side. Keep doing that same side. So now you'll be doing it with me in terms of mirroring. Elbow a little bit bent or straight and adding a lateral. Inhale the arm out to the side. Exhale, cross, opposite shoulder. You're in a little twist. Add the back bend. Exhale to neutral. And inhale back out. And exhale the arm down. All right, one more time. Let's see, I'm getting mixed up which side I've done. Let's do one more time each side, I believe. Inhale the arm up. Exhale over. Actually not, this is the last one, huh? A little back bend here. Exhale to neutral. Inhale back out. Remember, you're not doing this side if you're working with that QL issue. All right, and hands back to the front. So if you're not working with the QL issue, you can do a cat-cow. Otherwise, you're going to do, if your back is bothering you, you're going to do a little back bend to neutral, and that's it. If your back is fine, you can do some cat-cow movements here. And so if your back is bothering you, that may be plenty to do on the spine. That is actually 6 directions, but a little gentler. You may have only been doing it on the one side, which is fine. And so if your back at any part of the body has got a one-sided issue, usually the healing is going to be one-sided. So that would be sort of your lopsided practice until the body gets more even. We're gonna come back down to the legs. We're gonna do a leg and an arm. Some of the time it'll be the same arm and same leg. Some of the time it'll be the opposite arm and leg. And you're also welcome to do both arms and one leg. And I just showed all that on one leg, but we will be doing it on one leg for about 5 or 6 times, and then we'll switch it over to the other leg. So when we do 5 or 6 times with that one leg going, you can play with the arm movements that you like. And so before we did only the heel on the sliding apparatus, but you're welcome to put the ball of the foot down to get that stretch across the top of the ankle. My calves are really tight. I did a lot of hiking lately, so I'm gonna keep my heel down. So you can change that up for you. Same breath work. When things are expanding out away from the body, it's your inhale. When it comes back in, it's your exhale. All right, here we go. Inhale, pick an arm with that leg. That's your inhale. Exhale back in. Feel free to change arms or do both arms. I think this is number 4. We're going to do the next two with a hold. So come into it. Keep the leg there. Exhale the arms down. Inhale the arms a different way. And back in. Everything comes back in. And one more like that. Inhale. Exhale the arms only down. Inhale the arms back out some other way. And exhale, everything comes back in. All right, let's switch it over to the other leg. Inhale the leg out with one or both arms, similar to how we did the other side. Ready? And again, picking if you want the ball of the foot or the heel, or you can change that back and forth. Again, I'm sticking with my heel. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale, bending back in. Inhale, stretching out. Exhaling back in. All right, the next two we're gonna keep the leg in the stay, but the arms will keep moving. Exhale the arms down. Take different patterns with your arms. Everything back in. All right. And so the next section here, we're going to do some leg stretches from the side and some standing poses. These would not be recommended for those of you nursing your lower back. But if you want to do the leg part, fine, but don't do all the bending and twisting that we're going to do with the spine. All right, so I'm up on the corner, and the leg that's toward the screen is on the slider. And I'm going to slide that foot back on the inhale and forward on the exhale. And that leg again can take different spokes. All right, now pick one of those spokes to hold on and turn toward the front foot. And those of you nursing the lower back, you can do a back bend movement here and that twist to that one side only, not all these other things that we're going to do. Let's open it out for warrior 2. Elbow to thigh for that, adding that lateral. You can add the arm. Put that arm in reverse all the way back to the hip. Inhale, come on back up. Arms up for warrior 2. Let's take the back arm to join the front arm on the exhale. Both arms up on the inhale. And back down, bending the back knee as you exhale. and walk it around to the other side. Those with the QL, you're only going to be doing this on one side, the side that you need for your body, so that you're twisting, most of you with the left QL, twisting only to the left. Inhale, stretching the leg in some pattern that is available to you today. Inhale, stretch out, exhale back in. And then picking a place to take the stay and hold, turn to face the front knee. You can add a little back bend here on the inhale. Neutral. We're going to do warrior two. Elbow to thigh. Add that arm. Put the arm in reversed, exhaling. Back up to warrior two on the inhale. Back arm's going to join the front arm, exhaling. Arms up on the inhale. And back down. And bend the back knee. And come to face forward. And you can either do the cat-cows or the cow to neutral. And remember, I said at the beginning, anytime we're doing something that's you're going to skip, you could do just the arm movements. So you can add arm movements here if you like. Or when we were doing those standing poses, maybe you remembered that. I forgot to remind you. Inhale, a little back bend. Exhale, either to neutral, or if your back is fine, you can do the cow or the cat movement. All right, we're going to repeat standing poses to each side. Those of you nursing the lower back region or mid back region, you stay right in the center there and do arm movements, or repeat something that we did prior that you felt was beneficial, or just simply take a rest for a moment. It's not important not to overwork the body when it's trying to heal. Let's warm up that hip again. Inhale the leg out, exhale back in. And pick a place, and maybe pick a different place than what you did before. I'm going to put my leg a little further forward. Turn to face the bent knee. Exhale. Inhale, low back bend. Exhale. Next inhale, raise the arms back to warrior two. We're going to take that back stretch, adding the front arm arching back. Come back to warrior two. Close it up for to the front. Exhaling, warrior one, arms up. And let's fold over the front knee. Of course, if you're nursing your lower back, you're not going to do this one. And bend the back knee. And walk it around to the other side. That front foot is on a slider now, front in terms of facing the screen. And warming that leg up again. And then picking a spoke to keep your leg on. Turn to face the bent knee. Let's add a back bend here. And exhale to neutral. Inhale, warrior two. Drop the back arm to the chair or to your leg, adding a back arch. And back to warrior two. On the exhale, the back arm joins the front arm. Both arms up for warrior one. Fold over the front leg for a forward fold. Back up to neutral. And exhale, bend the back knee. And work your way to the front. All right, we'll counterpose that. Let's add arm movements. Everyone can do arm movements. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, either to neutral or just and arms coming down, or you can come elbows to thigh, yeah, elbows to thighs, or further forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, neutral or adding a forward fold if your body is allowing that today. All right, and just pausing at neutral. So most of the time we get into lower back issues from some kind of forward bending movement, bending and lifting something, pulling weeds, doing something that has us bending over. So this is why I'm emphasizing the back bend movement, but it needs to be a mild back bend, so you don't want to go too deep. So see if you can heal that back with and 50-minute class is too much for work for healing the back, so you want to take it real easy and pick and choose the movements in a class situation like this that you're like, yeah, I can do that one, and then sit it out. Don't be afraid to just sit it out. Of course, no one can see us tell what we're sitting out when we're in a online class like this. So protect your own body, sit it out, and just watch. Maybe just do something different. Like I was saying, you can do arm movements. Arm movements are one of the best things to do to help heal the spine. All right. I just want to show arm movements at the wall. Those of you who can get up out of the chair, let me move the chair out of the way so you can see. I'm going to have my back to you because I'll have my hands on the wall. I just want to show arm movements on the wall. Yeah. So on the inhale, you can take one arm, sliding it up the wall. My eyes are following the fingertips. Exhale back down. And that arm is doing the range of motion that's comfortable for me. So if my shoulder is bothering me, I might only be going up so high. And then you can take the arm out, any of those spokes out to the side or any of these angles. And these movements are nice to do to also tease into the back. The higher the movement, the more you tease into the back. But if your shoulder won't allow that, you just do what you can. And then you can also do slight arches here. So I'm going to try to mimic from the side. So now I'm standing more plumb line, and then I kind of give a little pressure into the wall, and you can be on your fingertips, not pushing your heel of your hand. And just lifting the collarbones up for a slight back bend and then back to neutral. Inhale, slight back bend and back to neutral. And those kind of things you can uh, do to help heal your back. Even at a kitchen counter, this is a little low for a kitchen counter, but just imagine kitchen counter, slight back bend. Just use this to kind of balance yourself. Those are some more ideas for those of you nursing your lower back. And just remember, don't do too many things in the beginning. So you got to really let it rest, do a couple, pick one or two things and just do a couple of repetitions of it. And wait and see how the body feels the next day. All right. Let's start to wind down now. So we're going to come back to the legs. If comfortable to do both legs simultaneously, bring your feet on your whatever you're sliding on. Inhale, legs out, exhale back in. And you can take the legs in different angles if you like, or just straight in front and not pushing into the floor. So really just letting them slide gently on the floor. The knees shouldn't be affected at all with this. In fact, we're trying to ease the knees from the strength work we did earlier. Just sort of letting things realign. So as I'm watching my legs go out, I want them to be tracking in straight lines. So you want to make sure your legs aren't doing any funky thing. Your knees, kneecaps, and your toes should face and point in the same direction. So if you do take your leg out to the side, you can see that. You want to make sure the knee's not pointing, my kneecap's not is now pointing in as my foot's going that way. These need to be pointing in the same direction. Same direction. My kneecap's facing that way, and that's the way my foot is going. Kneecap and toes in the same direction, no matter what. And that is a good way to help counterpose the action that we did on the legs during class. And let's do nice and easy movements on the arms, so not your biggest, fullest range of motion, but something a little loosey-goosey kind of thing. So I keep my elbows bent, nice and fluid. Inhale the arms out, exhale back in. Not big range, not all the way up and all the way down. Just stay in maybe 75, 50% of what you did before and getting less and less range of motion as we cool and calm down. Eventually just landing. Let's just land with the palm flips, palms up on the inhale, exhale, palms down. Slightest back bend to neutral. With or without the palm flips. And then you can rest your back on the chair back if you like, or if your spine is okay to stay supporting itself, sitting a little bit forward. Otherwise, feel free to lean back in the chair. And if you can, get your butt back in. If you have a little hole there, get your butt back in there and lean back for this a slight back bend. My arms are on the back side of the chair for that back bend. We'll just be here for another breath. Exhale from the belly to come back up. And just rest in neutral. Scooch forward, rest however your body is most comfortable. Wiggle it around a little bit till you find your most comfortable spot. And so, one thing I like to do when one side of my body is bothering me, so say it's my left lower back, is I focus on the right lower back. Just feel how nice the right lower back feels. If both sides of the back don't feel good, I'm going to focus on the belly across from that. So if it's in my back here, I'm going to focus on directly opposite it. So you want to come to an area near where the area of concern is, but not the squeaky wheel. So go to some other area that's not talking to you and breathe there and just say, hey, you're doing okay. You actually feel really good to me. And just taking a few breaths, keeping your mind there where the body feels really good. Maybe say thanks. Thanks for holding up your end. And sometimes when you focus on what's going well, the area of concern starts to diminish a little bit. So most of the time we pay all this attention to the squeaky wheel and it sometimes just makes it squeak louder. So instead, we're going to focus on, hey, that area feels pretty good. Now let's find another area that feels good. Go for a little bit further away. So if you're in the lower back area where something's talking to you, maybe go to the hips or to the shoulder blade, mid rib area, the mid back area, or the shoulders. Go to some other area a little bit further. That feels good. It's not squeaking. And maybe say thanks to that area. And just keep going. couple of breaths at each area, 2, 3, or more breaths at each area. Just really praising the areas that feel really good. See, you got a lot going for you. And often, so the lower back and the neck both have a curve that goes in forward or toward the anterior part of your body. And sometimes when one area is bothering us, the other area gets tense. So feel free to give your neck a little massage. You don't have to do it right now, but just maybe sometime during the day. And often you'll find some little knots in the neck. Maybe a little compensation going on, or who knows what happens, but these two curves often correlate with each other. And when one is bothering us, usually the other one has something less, not squeaking, but something going on that you can feel once you get your fingers up there. You're like, ooh, that is a little tight. And just give it a nice and gentle massage at some time during the day. And get all the way up toward the base of the skull where the attachments are. Even massaging your scalp sometimes can help. The scalp has all those pressure points for the whole body. So massaging your hands and your feet and your scalp, your ears, those areas will sometimes help make the whole body feel good. All right, let's just take these last few moments for some breath work here and a visualization. Let's imagine you can breathe in and out through the top of your head like you have a little dolphin um, blowhole there. And that's where you're taking your air in and out. Bring the air from the top of your head into the heart. And then let that dolphin blowhole close up. And imagine now that the navel is like a starfish. It takes all its nourishment in through its mouth at the center of its body, kind of where our navel is, and our five limbs, including the head as a limb. So let's now imagine the navel is an opening that you can breathe in and out of. You can take a breath into each limb, including the all the way up to the top of the head as a limb. And when you're done with that, close that up. And lastly, we're going to imagine our feet on the floor are like our two nostrils, and you can breathe in through the feet all the way up to the heart, in and out through the feet. Sometimes when I do that, I feel like I got one side more than the other. So if that happens, try not to focus on the open side, but just open the closed side. For me, this side feels more closed. So I'm going to really focus these last couple of breaths just in this one side. See if I can get that a little more open. All right. And then just bring your hands to your heart. If you're leaning back in the chair, maybe sit forward a little bit. And I thank you for joining me. Namaste. Namaste, everyone.
Thanks, JJ.
Thank you.
Thanks, JJ.
Thank you.